One of the most common questions I get about body language is, what does it really mean when someone crosses their arms on their chest? Now, this is a universal gesture. It's used in every country, and from what we can see, it's been used throughout eternity, maybe tens of thousands of years. And we know that from looking at paintings and even wall drawings where they show people with their arms crossed. So does it mean somebody's negative, defensive, non-participative? The general answer is yes, it does mean that. Now, it appears to be an inborn gesture, and we know that because monkeys and chimps also will do this. They cross their arms on their chest when they're feeling threatened or attacked. And so if somebody's about to throw a rocket or a coconut at another primate, at an ape or a monkey, they'll like it across their arms, across their chest, and the arms are crossed above the lungs and the heart. So it's a self-defense mechanism to protect yourself from a frontal attack. You don't cross it low across your belly or up here on the top of your chest. It's right across your heart and lungs. So it is definitely a biological barrier to protect yourself from frontal attack. And the fact that monkeys and chimps and other apes use this as well gives us that sort of evidence. Now, the question is, with humans, what happens? Well, we know that if you're feeling defensive, that could mean that you just don't like what you're hearing, you don't like the person you're with, or maybe you're with a group of strangers and you don't know anybody, you feel a little intimidated. The chances are you might do some sort of arm crossing like this. Now, when you do it, you'll say, if you're challenged about it, no, I'm not negative or defensive, I'm comfortable. Of course you're comfortable. You're always comfortable when you're feeling negative, defensive and non-participative by crossing your arms. When you're with a group of strangers or you don't agree with somebody, you will feel comfortable. If you're with all your friends having a great time, this is not comfortable because your attitude is open with your friends. So the body language is reflecting your emotional condition. Now, we also know when people cross their arms, they can recall up to 40% less of what they're hearing from you, the speaker. Not only that, they can give you up to 1/3 only of the amount of eye contact they'd normally give you. In other words, you disappear from view. So if there's a group of people standing there talking and chatting, and you're in that group and you've got your arms crossed, as the speaker is looking from person to person, they select you out. They actually don't see you because they pick up the crossed arms. And in the limbic part of the brain, the ancient part, the brain says this person is not accepting or maybe potentially threatening or is non-participative. So they don't see you. So if you want to get people involved, want to get people to look at you, which you do, want to get people to be engaged with you, keep yourself uncrossed. This is the key. Now, it's a simple thing to do, but not easy. You need to learn gestures such as steepling or holding your hands open by your sides. And if you've never done those before, they feel really bizarre, but after a couple of weeks, they'll feel perfectly normal. But I want you to work on eliminating arm crossing from your repertoire because people look at you less, remember less, and when they think back days later and remember you, they think of you in less flattering terms. Now, if another person's crossed their arms, then you might have an issue if you're trying to be persuasive or convincing. So how do you get another person to uncross their arms? Well, we know with body language, the emotion creates the gesture. So if I feel negative, defensive or non-participative, I just don't want to know about this. I'm not interested in these people or these events. I may cross my arms. But if you intentionally cross your arms because you're cold, for example, you'll feel less participative. You're like you don't want to get involved. So if you're standing in a cold climate and you cross your arms, you don't remember as much and you're not as happy. So the gesture causes the attitude, the emotion, as much as the emotion causes the gesture. So if someone's crossed their arms and you want to be persuasive, convincing, get them on side, get cooperation, you've got to get them to uncross their arms. So how can you do that? Well, simple way, hand them something. Cup of tea, coffee, or refreshment's good because it forces them to uncross their arms. You can't cross your arms with a hot drink because you'll burn your armpits, very nasty. Where they put the coffee cup will also give you an indication of their acceptance or rejection of whatever it is you're trying to convince them of. So they take a sip of their coffee cup, and if they're still not convinced, the arm goes in front of the body, and they cross their body with their arm with the cup. So not convinced, not convinced, not convinced. Well, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. When the arm's uncrossed, it shows that the mind is uncrossed. Open body, open mind. Closed mind, closed body. So you want to get people inside, get them to feel good, get them to do physical exercises. I do this with audiences. Question, raise your hand if you believe this, raise your hand if you believe that. Shake hands with the people around you. And the purpose of that is primarily to get people to uncross their arms because we know from research and science on this that if they've got their arms uncrossed, they're more attentive, they remember more, and they're more favourable in their reviews.